Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be reporting some serious news. Thomas Tuchel has just been sacked from Chelsea. And I know it's a new regime, but old habits die hard, and we know Chelsea have a notorious history of sacking managers like Mourinho, Ancelotti, Conte, even if they have credit in the bank. And Thomas Tuchel has joined that long, luxurious list of managers, even though he won the Champions League 2 years ago. And there's so many talking points to talk about when it comes to this sacking. Was it the right decision? Who's going to be the next manager? Was the players to blame? Was it Tuchel to blame? Who was it? And I'm just going to be dissecting this, give my honest thoughts and opinions, whose fault I really truly believe it was when it comes to Thomas Tuchel getting sacked and Chelsea's terrible and horrendous poor form this season. However, before going into this video and give my opinions, make sure you guys like, comment, and hit that big subscribe button right there, because only 10% of you guys are actually subscribed, and give me your thoughts in the comment section. Were the players not working hard enough? Was it Thomas Tuchel's fault for not adjusting and adapting to the players' needs in terms of playing them in the right position? Or is it a mixture of both? Let me know in the comment section. I'm actually intrigued. So the first thing I think of straight away is that it is quite surprising in the aspect that they actually backed Thomas Tuchel this summer. They gave him north of 300 million to spend. Chelsea by far was Europe's biggest spender when it came to the transfer market, and they didn't give Thomas Tuchel time to embed and adjust his players to his system. That's quite confusing, because if you're going to back him like that, to that extent, you should at least give him some time to get his players playing in the rhythm and the flow of their new system. I don't know what the board were thinking. If they didn't really trust him, they shouldn't have given him that much money, or they should have just sacked him before the season, because we know that players take time to adjust to new teams, and it's going to take a while before Chelsea are fully functioning, firing on all cylinders when it comes to this new season. So that's a massive talking point straight away. Were Chelsea panicking? Was it the right decision? Was it shrewd? Do they have other managers lined up already? But it just doesn't make sense to sack him straight away when you're not even giving his players the time to embed themselves into Thomas Tuchel's system. So that's the first fault. So the second fault straight away is that not only did you sack Thomas Tuchel when you didn't give him time to adjust his players to his system, you have also gotten a lot of players who are specialists in the 3-4-3 system which Thomas Tuchel plays. The new manager, which I believe will most likely play a forward back, because Chelsea fans are tired at the 3-4-3 formation, which looks like it hasn't been working for the last few games and months or so. So they need to adjust and change it up. But when we look at Chelsea's team right now, the players they bought and they have already, they're just tailored to this system. Cucurella, we know he's a left wing back, not great as a left back, but left wing back, obviously he can occupy high areas and create crosses and chances. Also, we know Thiago Silva is much more better in a 3, so he has cover, because we know when the 2 at the back running into the channels, he's going to be left exposed, isolated, and teams can take advantage of that. Fofana has played a lot of his football at Leicester in a 3 at the back system under Brendan Rodgers. So straight away you're thinking the new manager is obviously going to rip up that game plan of a 3-4-3 formation and bring his new ideas into the squad. But you're thinking, is he going to be fitting circle pegs into square holes? Like, it's not going to make sense. I know Thomas Tuchel so many times was playing players out of position, but that wasn't because of the formation. It was more about being more tactically smart in his eyes, of playing players like Loftus-Cheek as a right wing back so he can control central areas as well to make an overload in the midfield battle. So I don't know what Chelsea are going to do. Is Cucurella going to lose a spot because we know he's not a left back, and maybe Chilwell will be playing there? Fofana, he looked suspect in his last game yesterday against Dynamo Zagreb, so even at a 4 at the back, is he going to be good enough? However, I'm not going to dismiss Thomas Tuchel from all the blame. Obviously, he had flaws. Obviously, there was at times where you're thinking, what is he doing? The key point, which I just feel like is so simple to explain, of why Thomas Tuchel failed, is because he ran out of ideas. We saw it with the 3-4-3 formation this season. I was never a fan of it. I just felt like it was only tailored for cup competitions and not league success, because you're putting yourself at a disadvantage having so many defenders, which can cost you in 1-1 draws when you don't have enough attacking players going forward, and just tailor-made for playing more sideways passes rather than ruthless direct passes into the forward players. So that's why Chelsea could never really keep up with the likes of Liverpool and Man City, especially last season, although they had injuries as well. I felt like the league caught up when it came to this formation, this setup. We saw Leeds take advantage when it came to the high press. Chelsea could not live with this. They couldn't create angles when it came to passing out of the press. Even teams like Southampton sitting back and counter-attacking. It just felt like Chelsea were clueless. It just felt like Chelsea had no real direction. You didn't really know their playing style when it came to the final third of how they're going to create chances. The players looked lost and they didn't know what they were doing. They were devoid of so many ideas when it came to the final third, and that's what really cost Chelsea. We saw Thomas Tuchel try change it up, try think on his toes, try be a tactical genius by playing a 4-2-2-2 formation. But we saw in pre-season and we saw in the Premier League, it just didn't work. It's an outdated formation which we've seen managers try in the past and have never succeeded, especially within this league. We saw Ralph Rangnick do it last year. He changed it up quickly because it just was not working. So we just saw Thomas Tuchel be desperate, be proactive, but failed of being proactive by changing the system. And he was so desperate that he changed to a formation that was just so outdated, not suited to this league, that I just felt like he had no other ideas up his sleeve to try get the Chelsea players playing well for the club. Also, another talking point, I feel like Thomas Tuchel was not a great individual manager. We saw last season Romelu Lukaku. I'm not absorbing Romelu Lukaku from the blame from last year. However, we saw Lukaku blame Thomas Tuchel when it came to the system. It didn't suit his needs. It didn't suit his playing style. And that's why we never saw the best of Romelu Lukaku. If we compare Thomas Tuchel to his contemporaries of Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, we know they have made a hallmark in terms of their reputation when it comes to improving individual players. Jurgen Klopp, we have seen it notoriously famous and in your up-and-coming players or teams from lower half teams like Newcastle in terms of Ronaldo and Robertson from Hull, and they turned into world-class players. We saw with Raheem Sterling taking the next step with Pep Guardiola. But when it came to Thomas Tuchel, it just felt like the growth of these players stagnated. We saw with Havertz, he still looks like the exact same player when he first joined the club. Mount has plateaued in terms of his form. He's one of Chelsea's best players when Frank Lampard was there and was excelling, but it just felt like under Thomas Tuchel, he was never able to take that next jump. Even youngsters, players like Hudson-Odoi, who was favoured of going to Bayern Munich as one of the best young English players on earth. We saw him get loaned out to the wrong Bayern club, Bayern Leverkusen, literally this season, not being able to grow and improve and develop as a player. Billy Gilmore, fantastic game against Manchester United a few years ago. So many Chelsea fans were optimistic that he's going to be one of the best players at the club for the next decade or so in that centre midfield role. But where has he been? He's been loaned out. Gallagher, another option. Crystal Palace, one of the best young players last season, excelling under the Patrick Vieira system. But we've seen in the first few games or so, Thomas Tuchel doesn't know his best position. So when it comes to individual talent, Thomas Tuchel has not shown the right mindset, the right attitude, or his ability to actually make them better. And that's what's going to be important if Chelsea are going to have so much success in the end. The only real player who has improved is Reece James. But apart from that, no real other player you can really point at. Pulisic as well, under Frank Lampard, literally carrying Chelsea like he was a prime Eden Hazard. But ever since then, what has he really done under Thomas Tuchel? And Thomas Tuchel had him at Borussia Dortmund. So that's another reason why Thomas Tuchel has been fired. Me, as a person, I thought it was the right decision. It was just crazy that you're going to back him and not give him the chance and the opportunity to literally try repay you in terms of performances and get them trophies. But at the end of the day, Thomas Tuchel, I feel like his time was up. He ran out of ideas. I'm not absorbing the players from any blame because I felt like Thomas Tuchel showed tremendous loyalty to some players like Havertz. He literally offloaded Werner and Lukaku to point the finger at him and be like, you're going to be the main man for Chelsea for the next few years or so. And what did Havertz do? He has not repaid him this season. So I feel like players that Mount has plateaued in his own form. He deserves some blame. Players, come on, man. You should take responsibility of your own play. You can't just look at the manager and be like, it's all your fault. Come on, you should play for the badge. You should play for yourself, some pride, some self-respect. And the Chelsea players haven't lived up to that. The biggest talking point now is that who's going to be the next manager. Graham Potter, as we see, is one of the favourites right now. I feel like in essence that is the correct manager because he does play at the 3-at-the-back system, so the players will be able to gel well to his system. He's been shown in the last few years or so, in the last 5 years, that he's been able to turn water into the wine when it comes to different styles of players where you're thinking they're finished, like Welbeck. Players who you think don't really have a chance in the Premier League and they actually excel under him. One of England's best managers for the last 5 or 6 years or so. He deserves a chance at one of the big clubs. And we have seen when players leave like Basuma, players leave like Cucurella, other players, Brighton still perform well. He got Brighton to their best ever finish last season. So that's literally tremendous, finishing 9th. However, the only real question mark is, will Graham Potter demand the respect from the Chelsea players? The Chelsea players are going to look at him and be like, you haven't won anything in your career. You've managed a mid-table side. I'm a European champion. I've won the Champions League. Some of them have won the Euros. So what do you think you have the right to manage me? That's what some Chelsea players are going to be thinking. And we've seen it in the past, like David Moyes have a consistent reign as a British manager at a certain club as Everton, then transferred his skills to Manchester United and wasn't able to make it work. Will Graham Potter be able to grab the mantle, get the squad's respect so they can start playing for him and actually buy into his system? We'll have to wait and see. Thank you guys for watching my video. Let me know other names who you think Chelsea should potentially get as the next manager, and I'll see you later on.